verse 16 it says, "My beloved is mine and I am his." I want to put in this manner. This verse seems to be self-centered. He, she, or the church, maybe she wants his beloved to be her, only belongs to her. Here, the subject is the church, not the Christ. Most of the times, we started our godliness or our Christian faith having our own subject, not the Christ, as main subject. And he is an object, and we are the main subject. Especially in India, people want to come to Jesus. Oh, if I come to Jesus, what he can do for me? And most of the people, even in the Old Testament people, they went into the court of the Lord or went into the house of the Lord to ask of something. Look at Hannah. She went into the house of the Lord and she began to ask. So the moment you started asking something, you became the main subject. The one who is doing the things is an object. Here, most of the times we started our Christian life just like that. If I come to the church, what can I get? If I attend this Bible study, what can I get? So if I do this, what can I get? Especially, I don't know about the United States, but in India, 99% or maybe 100%, they started their godliness like that, including me. So most of you, the new, you're very happy to serve him because for what he is plus what he has done in our lives. Oftentimes the joy, the reason for our joy in the Christian life is God plus something. God plus my job, I'm very happy. God plus my family, I can be very happy. God plus my car, I can be happy. God plus my gadgets. So as long as he's providing something apart from him, oh, I may be happy. That is self-centered and God-centered Christianity. But God needs more than that. A time came in the life of as he told me, he trained me in different areas. And one thing regarding scheduling the things, in India we are very bad in that. So I tried to catch him up, but I could able to pull him to my, according to my schedule. Very few days back I called him, so I am ready to come to Fentress County. I know in the United States, all the church programs, at least I have to give sufficient time, 2 or 3 months, to schedule everything. But, this place, I can come anytime. And even my schedule is not fixed properly. That's why he's saying he may come, he may go like that. So bear with me, bear with an Indian. Because we don't follow the schedules most of the times. Thank you very much. And this evening, once again, I give glory to God. And I just want to bring some thoughts from the book Song of Solomon. Song of Solomon. And I never preached this sermon before, and I have been praying since this morning, and the Lord gave me some thoughts. I just want to share those thoughts with you from the Word of God. Song of Solomon is a book which most of the Christians, they don't refer into. And if you find the pages of their Bible, you will find the pages in Psalms looks old. The pages in Proverbs looks old. And if you come to the next book, Ecclesiastes, they looks new. And if you come to the pages of Song of Solomon, they looks brand new. Because they don't refer that book much, most of the Christians. But I'm not going into, there are some conflicts, and who is the beloved, and who is Solomon, and he is not the Solomon, but I'm not going into all those things. But there is one word which is used 3 times, but if you look into our language, as I can see in English also, how the words have changed. And I just want to read that word from 2nd chapter, verse 16, Song of Solomon. And most of the people, they don't know where the book is because they never refer to that book. I remember the very first word that I spoke to my wife, before I get married. Somebody asked me, have you dated your wife? In India, we don't know dating. So they explained me what dating means, as having some conversation and getting to know each other before the wedding. Then I realized, then I said, yes, I have dated my wife before my marriage only one time for 5 minutes. So during that 5 minutes, the very first word that I said to you, because my father-in-law, he is also a pastor, so our courtship began in a different way. In India, generally the bridegroom will go to the girl's house, and even before we met together, the parents will arrange everything, or the elders. They say, oh, there is a girl, and somebody will say to me, oh, there is a boy. So if everything is okay, he is a minister of the word, and are you willing to marry a pastor? And if she is okay, then she will tell her priorities, and they will come to me and they will tell the same priorities to me, and these are her priorities. Are you willing to fulfill those priorities? If I said okay, then it's kind of to and fro only by the parents or the elders. But after 2-3 visits, then only we will meet together. So the very first time, and they asked me to preach a sermon. Actually in India, the bridegroom side people will put some test to the bride. Like you just walk and you sing a song, and do you know how to dance, and do you know cooking? So they want to know all these things before they get into the marriage. But they tested me and they told, I know that you are a pastor, and would you please preach for us a sermon? We want to give some marks to the sermon, how you are preaching. So I started like Song of Solomon, the Song of Solomon. Then my wife, being a daughter of a pastor, she is referring to her Bible, and she couldn't able to find that where is Song of Solomon. At that time, Deborah, she is not my wife at that time, and she just referring, she could not able to find. Then her father, being a pastor, he could able to find quickly the book of Song of Solomon. Then he opened his Bible and gave that Bible to his daughter, and he took the Bible from her hand. Then very first question I asked my wife, that was my first words to my wife, is, don't you have book of Solomon in your Bible? Because she couldn't able to find it. That's the reason I'm saying most of the people, they don't have the book of Solomon in their Bible. Do you have? Okay, if you have, please refer to chapter 2 and verse 16. Let me read it from chapter 2, verse 16. Here it says, my beloved is mine, and I am his. My beloved is mine, and I am his. The same word repeats in chapter 6 and verse 3. I am my beloved's, and my beloved is mine. And it is also repeats in 7th chapter, verse 10. I am my beloved's, and his desire is for me. It seems to be the same word repeated 3 times. But if you look into those words, and if you observe those words keenly, you will find there is a shuffle in the arrangement of the words. Means subject in first verse became an object in the other verse. So in the last verse, you will not find the subject, you will find only one person. And while my thought here is, in the first verse, in second chapter, verse 16, it says, "My beloved is mine and I am his." I want to put in this manner. This verse seems to be self-centered. He, she, or the church, maybe she wants his beloved to be her, only belongs to her. Here, the subject is the church, not the Christ. Most of the times, we started our godliness or our Christian faith having our own subject, not the Christ, as main subject. And he is an object, and we are the main subject. Especially in India, people want to come to Jesus. Oh, if I come to Jesus, what he can do for me? And most of the people, even in the Old Testament people, they went into the court of the Lord or went into the house of the Lord to ask of something. Look at Hannah. She went into the house of the Lord and she began to ask. So the moment you started asking something, you became the main subject. The one who is doing the things is an object. Here, most of the times we started our Christian life just like that. If I come to the church, what can I get? If I attend this Bible study, what can I get? So if I do this, what can I get? Especially, I don't know about the United States, but in India, 99% or maybe 100%, they started their godliness like that, including me. So most of you, most of you know my personal testimony. When I was 13, until the age of 13, I was a very enthusiastic idol worshipper. I used to worship all kind of Hindu gods, and I was born and brought up in a Hindu family. But when I was 13, I got infected to leprosy. One day I found a thick brown color patch just below my right knee, and the doctor diagnosed that it is because of leprosy. And he also told it may not be cured because in those days there was no proper treatment for leprosy in India. But nowadays a treatment called multi-drug therapy is available. But in those days I have to use medicine for 5 years continuously and daily 7 kinds of medicine. And the doctor told even if I use the medicine will be useful to me so that the other parts of the body may not be infected to the disease, but that patch may not go. So in that situation, and actually when I heard those words, I wept bitterly. I don't want to live as a leper. I got frightened because every leprous people from surrounding villages, they used to come into my town for begging on every Friday. I got frightened. Am I going to be like one of them someday? So if my classmates came to know that I got infected to leprosy, will they allow me to sit along with them? So all these kinds of fear entered in my mind. I don't want to live as a leper. And I even want to commit suicide, but somehow the Lord rescued me from that kind of thoughts. So that night I had a brother, and both our beds are in the same room. My mom, she is watching at us and she is weeping in herself. Her fear was if I slept beside my brother, he might also get infected to the disease. Though it is not contagious, but in those days people think leprosy is a contagious disease. So she looked at all the idols that we used to worship hanging from the four corners of the walls of the room, like these posters, and started addressing them. Would you help my son? Would you cure my son? And he has done so much to you. And she is praying to all Hindu gods, hours together. Nothing was happened. Then finally, she remembered Jesus. She thought, oh, I tried with all these gods. Now, why can't I try with Jesus Christ also? Then, when he started praying to Jesus, then she saw that a great light entered into that room. It was not a vision for her. While she was watching with her physical eyes, she could able to see that great light. Then she was convinced that there is something in Jesus. There is power in Jesus. The next day morning, she told me, son, I think we have tried with all these gods, but we haven't tried with Jesus yet. So shall we go to the church? Then I said, okay, mom, we can go to the church, anticipating that we can receive a healing from God. Even I attend the church, my first priority is myself, self-centered. And if you look into the second time, how the words have changed. Here she is saying, my beloved is mine and I am his. And in second verse, in chapter 6, verse 3, is saying, I am my beloved's and my beloved is mine. Here she is moving from self-centered ideology to God-centered ideology. That is very much important in the Christian life. And when you enter into the church, it is not you the main subject, but it is He who is the main subject. Most of the times we are settling that if He done something to us, and praise God, the Lord has done miracles for me, and we may testify. As long as He is doing miracles in your life, as long as He is doing good things in your life, people want to follow. Because most of the times we are just self-centered. The moment that you realize, oh, we are not getting as many things as we used to get, maybe from the Lord, in the church, through the prayer, then we began to stop attending the church. That's the reason in India, many people, they have started their Christian faith like this. What I can get if I follow Jesus. That is the reason, even after a few days, you will not find those people in the church. Someone said, if you count all the people who have raised their hands up to receive Jesus in India, if you count all the crusades, that number may exceed the number of the population of India, 1.3 billion. So what does it mean? Is their commitment is not genuine? It is genuine only for that time. And when they heard the word of God, they want to follow Jesus, anticipating they can get something in return. Apart from the salvation, apart from the holiness, and some worldly things, or for some material things. They want to receive some material things, anticipating they can get some material things. They want to follow Jesus. Self-centered Christianity, self-centered godliness, self-centered faith. As long as the Lord is good to me, I will follow Him. But here, she is turning from self-centered to God-centered. Initially she said, my beloved is mine, but now she is saying, I am my beloved's. She is turning from self-centered to God-centered. It is very much important in our lives. Look at David. When he became the king, the very first thing, he went into the court of the Lord, or house of the Lord. Then he began to praise Him. He began to say thank for what God has done. So 2 points. One is entering into the house to ask of something. Second thing is entering into the house to say thanks for something which you already received. So the first one is self-centered faith. The second thing is God-centered faith. Most of the people, they're stopping at self-centered faith. They're not coming to the God-centered. And not only that, the Lord will also test you. And in the last verse that we have read, it says, it only refers beloved. You cannot see anything about the love there, or anything about the girl. Only she is saying about the Lord, not the church. It means only God. God alone. So here my idea is you have to move as a Christian from self-centered faith to the God-centered faith, and ultimately God alone. Only God, not me anymore. And if you look into different texts in the Bible, you will find that. Look at Abraham, the father of faith. He started following God with a self-centered motivation because he was already 75 years. His wife, she is 65 years. They don't have any children. And if you look into the first conversation of God with Abraham, and in the very first conversation, God promised Abraham, I will bless you and I will bless your descendants. So believing on that promise, I think Abraham started following Jesus. Oh, God is going to bless me with a son, or God is going to bless my descendants as the stars of the sky. So he started as self-centered. So he's always looking for that. And the promise is not being fulfilled even after 13 years of his following, of his faith in the Lord. At the age of 75, he started following Jesus, if you look into the Bible. But at the age of 86, he gave birth to Ishmael. So until that moment, 16 years, from 75 to 86, maybe 11 years, he could able to follow faithfully. But after 11 years, he said, oh, the Lord is not going to bless me as he has promised. And maybe then Sarah, she came and she gave him a wrong direction. Then he followed Sarah. He obeyed his wife. Then you know the consequences till today. And in the Middle East, they are facing the consequences. But what happened then? 13 years, from the year of 86th year until 99 years, 13 years, you will not see any revelation or any appearance of God to Abraham. During that time, I think maybe Abraham, he repented. Then in chapter 17, he said, again he himself appeared to Abraham at the age of 99. So at the age of 86, he gave birth to Ishmael. From that time up to until 99, you will not find any appearances of God to Abraham. So at the age of 86, he gave birth to Ishmael. At the age of 99, God himself in his mercy, because he is gracious, he himself appeared to Abraham. Then he changed the name of Abram to Abraham. Abram means the one who honors his own father. Abraham means the father of many nations. So the one honors his own father, self-centered Abraham, now he became God-centered. When God gave him a promise with a time frame, by next year this time, and you are going to get a son, oh, he was very happy. Then from very long time, he has been waiting from 75th year of his life until 99th year for this promise to be fulfilled. At the age of 100 years, he gave birth to Isaac. The literal meaning of Isaac is laughter. His joy or laughter. So Isaac brought a laugh or a joy into the house of Abraham and Sarah. Maybe from that moment until Isaac was 20 years, it's around 20 years, Abraham, he was very happy because of God plus Isaac. Most of the times we are very happy to serve him because for what he is plus what he has done in our lives. Oftentimes the joy, the reason for our joy in the Christian life is God plus something. God plus my job, I'm very happy. God plus my family, I can be very happy. God plus my car, I can be happy. God bless my gadgets. So as long as he's providing something apart from him, oh, I may be happy. That is self-centered and God-centered Christianity. But God needs more than that. A time came in the life of Abraham. 22nd chapter, verse 4, Genesis. And he called Abraham. Abraham, now you have to do one thing. You have to offer your only son, whom you love very much, and you have to offer me as a sacrifice. Then Abraham has to choose in between God-centered and God alone. Most of the times we have to choose in between self-centered and God-centered. And if you go through that process also, there is a point would come in your life where you have to choose in between God-centered and God alone. And here we can see the journey of the church in all these 3 verses of Song of Solomon. From self-centered faith to God-centered faith. Then God-centered faith to God alone faith. It's no more me. No more my thoughts. No more my opinion. You can see even the life of Jesus Christ also. At the last day of his prayer, when he prayed on in the Garden of Gethsemane, in the last day, Lord, if it is thy will. And he also said, I don't want this, but nevertheless, it's not my will, but it's your will. That is God only Christianity. And this evening, I just want each one of you to examine ourselves what kind of godliness or what kind of faith, what kind of Christianity that we are doing in our lives. Are you still self-centered? Coming to the house of the Lord to ask of something. Ask for help, ask for job, ask for something. Always asking for some material benefits. The person who is just coming for the material benefits, the moment he realizes that he is not going those material benefits anymore, he will stop coming to the Lord. You have to move on from self-centered faith to the God-centered faith. God-centered faith says, they are saying the 3 Hebrew young men, Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego, they were saying, our God is able. That is God-centered. But God alone, they're continuing these words. Even the God did not rescue us, King or Nebuchadnezzar. You know that we are not going to bow down before your statue. That is God alone. If you done something, well and good. Even if you don't do anything for me, still I will follow. And I know that there is one famous song, still I will follow. The song is, though all may leave me, I have decided to follow Jesus, which was written by an Indian missionary. In northern India, there is a state called Nagaland, and Nagaland is mainly the tribe people, they live there. They are headhunters. So in their custom, so as many heads they could able to hunt from the enemies, and they preserve those skulls, and the girl want to marry that kind of man. So they are all head hunters. So in that tribe, one man and his family, they accepted Jesus. And the village head called them and they forced them, you have to deny Jesus or else you would die. They refused to deny Jesus. Then the village head ordered the man with having a bow and arrow in his hands and leave the arrow over his wife. So his wife got killed in front of his own eyes. Then that man, the village head asked that person, are you still believing in Jesus or do you deny your faith in the Lord? Then he started singing this song, I have decided to follow Jesus. No turning back, no turning back. Then again they killed his only son. Then he started this stanza, though all may leave me, still I will follow, no turning back, no turning back. This is a song from India, from one of the tribe in Nagaland, and that is very famous song. And this evening, I just want to once again, I want to check your faith. At what stage that we are in right now? Are we still self-centered? Coming to the Lord to gain something, to get something from the Lord all the time? And most of the times our prayers are like this. So if you pray, And on the other day, I think I was sharing here about the prayer, the difference between prayer and intercessory prayers. Most of the times we pray, and most of the things that for ourselves, and maybe you can notice your prayers. How long you are praying? Maybe 15 minutes, 20 minutes. Out of those 20 minutes, 19 minutes only for yourself. I, me and myself. Maybe the last minute for Church of the Harvest, Pastor Razar. If you remember, Pastor Moses in India also. Very few. But for us, it's a lot of things. For others, very few. So we have to change that kind of attitude. And those three Hebrew young men, they are saying, we know God is able, but even though He didn't rescue us, we are not going to bow before your statue. That is God alone. God alone. So this evening I just want to encourage you to have some self-examination. And somebody said, one American preacher, Moses, you better not to use the word about let us examine ourselves in the United States, because we don't want to examine ourselves, we just want to hear you. I don't know, but I want to say, I don't like just to hear. Whenever the preacher preaches to me, I like to examine myself. So this is the same thing I want you to do. Are we still self-centered, anticipating God can do something always for us? Or are we God-centered? No, it's not me, but I want to do something to God. And God alone, even all the conflicts come to me, even the persecution come to me, still I will follow. In India, and the persecution is rising. Like from the past 4 years, as I was telling, an anti-government came into ruling, anti-Christian government came into ruling 4 years ago. From then, all these Hindu extremists, they are killing Christians, which means they can file a case against Christians, but that doesn't work for them, because according to the law, preaching the Christ is not a crime. So even though they file a case against them, they can come out of the prison. But now they are thinking, oh, if we send these people to prison, they will come out one day. So better to kill them. So they are killing Christians nowadays. Almost on a weekly basis, almost every week, one pastor or a believer is being killed in our state also, in South India also, which was very unusual in yesteryears. It's happening now. And very recently, there were in my state, there was a lady praying on her rooftop in the evening. An old lady, her name is Subama, and she was praying on her rooftop. And there was a man building a temple, Hindu temple, and close to that house. And they make big towers to build their Hindu temples. And she is working on that tower, and she looked at this woman, she is praying. And he got very much angry with that woman. So he came, and he's a sculpture, a stone sculpture, building that Hindu temple. And with that hammer, he hit her to death. And Subama, she died. It was happened just 1 month ago. So very recently in another state of India, Chhattisgarh, one pastor was beheaded. So you can see head one side and the body the other side. He was beheaded just because of her faith. It's happening now, and we realize that this is the time that we have to stand for the Lord with a firm determination. It's no more self-centered, but God alone. God-centered and God alone. I just want to encourage each one of you to have that kind of attitude. Who knows what's going to happen? Don't think that we are safe in the United States. It's the same thing. Mordecai, he is sending a message to his cousin Esther. Esther, don't think that you are safe because you are in the palace. Don't think you are safe because you are in the palace. So something may happen at any time. So let us focus from self-centered faith to the God-centered faith and God alone faith. May God help you in this regard. Thank you for hearing. God bless you all.